Hey John, have you seen the January issue of Kairos Global yet?
Not yet. What's the focus this time? You're in for a treat. The theme is listening, and it's not just about hearing people, but truly cultivating the art of listening in our daily lives, especially when it comes to listening to God. That sounds interesting. How do they explore such a deep topic?
The articles dive right in. The first one, Cultivating Hearts That Listen by Jilu Chengit, asks a very thought provoking question. Are we people who listen and respond to the voice of God? It's not easy, but she gives such practical ways to tune our hearts to God's voice. It's a great read for anyone looking to deepen their spiritual life.
That's something I definitely need. Sometimes I feel like I'm just going through the motions when I pray. It's hard to know if I'm really listening to what God wants from me.
Exactly. That's why this issue is so powerful. Dr. Joseph Sebastian's article, Being True Listeners, hits on just that. He talks about what it means to be a true listener, what it involves, and what it doesn't. I loved his take on how listening can actually help us grow in faith.
I bet that would help me with my spiritual journey. I often feel like I need to do more, but maybe I need to listen more instead.
You're not alone. And Brother Anthony Cunhampurit's piece, Listening to Our Hearts and Listening to Christ, is such a good follow up to that. He writes about trusting the promptings of our hearts, because that's where Jesus speaks to us. It's all about learning to trust those gentle nudges from God.
Wow, so it's not just about listening to others, but really about learning to listen to what's happening inside ourselves and how God is guiding us.
Exactly. And you know what's really exciting? Dr. Mithan Paul, the Jesus Youth International Coordinator, shares his insights on a new initiative within the movement that's all about listening. His article, Listening to the Movement, sheds light on how Jesus Youth is encouraging people to practice listening, not just as individuals, but as a community.
That's a brilliant idea. The world is so noisy nowadays, it's easy to miss what really matters.
Right? And there's a beautiful story in there too. Sylvie Santhosh wrote A Journey to the Eucharist, the source and summit about her RCA student, Andrew, and his journey of conversion to the Catholic Church. It shows how listening to God's call transformed his life.
That sounds really inspiring. So the whole issue is focused on how listening can bring us closer to God and help us grow in faith?
Yes, whether it's through quiet prayer, listening to our hearts, or paying attention to others in our community, it's all connected. It's such a refreshing way to start the year. You'll really appreciate it.
I'm convinced. I'm grabbing my copy as soon as I can. Sounds like the perfect read for January.
You won't regret it. It's a great way to reflect on how we can make listening a central part of our spiritual life this year.
Thanks for the heads up, Sarah. I'm excited to dive into it.